For everyone wondering, this card is my favorite hand trap of all time. So Fantastical Dragon Phantasme is a level 7 monster that reads, if your opponent special summons a Link monsters, except during the damage step, you can special summon this card from your hand, draw cards equal to the number of Link monsters your opponent controls +1, then shuffle cards from your hand into the deck equal to the number of Link monsters they control. When your opponent activates a card or effect that targets a monsters you control, quick effect, you can discard one card, so that's the cost, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy it. You can only use each effect of Fantastical Dragon Phantasme once per turn. There are so many things to say about this card. First of all, its effect triggers when your opponent special summons Link monster, not necessarily when your opponent Link summons, which is really important. So in other words, your opponent can have 0 Link monsters in their extra deck, and you can still resolve Fantastical Dragon Phantasme if, let's say, your opponent goes Ice Dragon's Prison, revive back your own Link monster. And Phantasme guarantees you at least one draw, because even if your opponent has 0 Link monsters on the field at resolution, you kind of draw 0 plus 1 and then shuffle back 0. And of course, if your opponent goes like extra Link and they have like freaking 7 Link monsters on your field, it's pretty much Scald on crack. And let's not forget the fact that Phantasme's draw effect is also a part of the special summoning from hand effect, so it's kind of immune to cards like Skill Drain, Effect Veiler, Imperm, etc. On top of that, you can also special summon Phantasme on your own turn if your opponent, let's say, Link summons or special summons Link monsters on your own turn with, for example, like I said, Ice Dragon's Prison, but also Tri-Brigade Revolt, which is really popular this format, and it has been also for last format, so you could actually see Phantasme being played sometimes several times in one game. Digging your deck for the right cards and putting back the wrong cards back into the deck is pretty much a gift that literally everybody enjoys. It also happens to be a level 7 Dark Dragon monster, which is pretty relevant if you want to search it with Seifert, or link it off for Hieratic Seal, or even Dark the Dark Charmer, so you can, I don't know, special summon a Dark monster from your opponent's graveyard, crash it, search Lavineer, etc. The effect it has on the field is actually extremely relevant, and believe it or not, it's what made me win my top 16 match at YCS Niagara. Against Sky Striker, for example, you have no idea how insanely relevant it is, because you can actually negate your opponent's Widow Anchor completely, and it negates the activation and destroys the card as well. So even against other cards that target and destroy, like Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss, Phantasme is absolutely huge. Now, the beauty about Phantasme is that it helps you without necessarily hurting your opponent, and I actually think this is extremely good card design because it's a good hand trap that is very healthy, because it actually promotes back and forth interaction by letting your opponent fairly play Yu-Gi-Oh, but also giving you a fair chance as well at actually drawing your outs to your opponent's situation, or maybe just draw a good hand so you can actually grind it out. So when you compare it to a card like, I don't know, D-Shifter, Lancia, Jolan Logbird, it's kind of obvious that Phantasme is the least degenerate out of everyone, because unless you're drawing a hand traps off of Phantasme, which is a thing that can actually happen, you're not necessarily hurting your opponent, even with the second effect, because your opponent is aware that you have that ability. It's a win-win situation because, like I said, your opponent isn't salty when he sees that you resolve Phantasme, but at the same time, you have a big smile on your face when you do resolve it. And I want to say, if 80% or more of the top decks are actually Link summoning consistently on turn 1, you could actually main deck up to 3 copies of Phantasme, otherwise you would probably have to side deck the card. And if you're playing a deck like Tri-Brigade or Salamandrade or literally any strategy that plays a lot of hand traps, Phantasme is pretty interesting for you because, like I said, you can actually draw into your hand traps. So sometimes when you look at your hand, you're like, I don't really have anything to interact with my opponent yet. I have Phantasme and 4 like engine cards, so if my opponent's playing like a super aggressive deck, I might be screwed, right? Well, sometimes you resolve that Phantasme and you draw exactly what you need, which could be pretty interesting. But yeah, in conclusion, I do believe that Phantasme is the fairest hand trap that exists in Yu-Gi-Oh, and it's the kind of card that I think Konami should print a little more of this kind of design in a way, if that makes any sense, because like I said, it doesn't really hurt your opponent that hard, but it also benefits you at the same time. So I do believe that also because of its power and consistency boost, people should at least consider testing the card or even including it in deck building. But what do you guys think about Phantasme? Do you think it's a good card? Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.